Hey guys, this is a guide to speedrun reverse event order in Ori and the Blind Forest. I'm going to be assuming that you've already done runs of some other category or learned the run for another category before you delve into this, because this is just a really bad category to start with. There's a lot of tricks in it, and without the base of, knowing basically some other route, knowing like some save anywhere stuff, you're going to have a really hard time with OREO. Not to say that it's impossible, but I'm going to be basing this assuming you know like save anywhere and like the all skills route and stuff like that, because if you don't, this is just going to be kind of brutal and be a bunch of wasted explanation for people that already know that stuff. So I'll be assuming that you know all skills at least, and then I'll be talking about the stuff that's a little bit different. So leading into wall jump is the same as pretty much every category. One thing to note about this is I am going 3 health here, and it's I think a fairly reasonable thing to go 3 health in this category. You do pick up that 4th health cell, but you come right by it later on when you're on your way to charge flame, so it's faster to get it then, and it's nicer to have low health early because it sets you up for some suicides a little bit better. But that said, if you want the early game safety, you can grab that health cell, and it's not going to be a big deal. So anyways, heading on towards Blackroot, I guess one thing to note is in all skills and all cells recently, there's been this new route where you grab Quick Flame on the entrance to Blackroot, and then you take 100 experience in there and also skip the Darkness cutscene. That is not feasible in OREO. You're going to just be doing it this way pretty much. So you're going to grab Rekindle on the entrance to Blackroot. And the reason for this is that there's absolutely a ton of out-of-bounds saves that you have to do later in the run to make things work, and essentially there's so many forced saves that you run out of 1-point abilities to level up, and you start leveling up 2-point abilities. So if we were to level Quick Flame now, we would have to farm 2 ability points later on to make up for it, and the time save from getting it now is just not worth it, especially since you don't fight the Ginso mini-boss until much, much later. Now, one thing to note about the experience route is it's not super tight like the old reverse event order routes. Here I kind of made a little bit of a mistake. I don't want to be leveling on the way out of Blackroot during the boulder clip. In this case I will, because I got that slimes experience before the lever. The reason for that is just because you don't want to you want to be damaged when you get into Grotto, because we're going to do a key dupe there so that we have keys for Swamp. Since we're not going into Ginso for a very long time, we can't key dupe in Ginso, so this is our next best option basically. This is standard from all skills. You just glitch that lever open. Now this is the boulder clip. Let me slow it down. If you played all cells, you're familiar with this. You basically just crouch here, so you're just holding down as your only input. The boulder pushes you through the floor, and then you can run after the boulder just by holding right and then hold down and dash a few times to get out of bounds. One thing to note is you can't get ahead of this boulder by like dashing a little bit earlier. I don't do it here. In fact, I managed to dash into the back of the boulder and have to do this again. But you can maybe take a look at some new all cells runs to see what that looks like, but I didn't do it in this run, so I'm playing a little bit safer. There's the level up that I didn't really want to get, and now we're through to Grotto. Now, one thing to note is that I don't go for the God Cycle here, not only because I grabbed that experience orb, which made it impossible, but just because you need to come through here multiple times. And what I'm doing now is waiting for like the vertical crusher to start going down so that I can come through for a key dupe and have it already open for me. And the closest place you can save for this key dupe is back where I put that save there. So I'm just manipulating this cycle so that it's nicer every single time. I will note that it is possible to just do the God cycle 3 times, but it's very, very, very difficult because each consecutive time to do it, since you have to rekindle, the crushers will be separated by a lot. So while it's possible for a task to get the triple God cycle with the crushers separated and like dash gliding over them, I don't think that it's too reasonable for a human. So I think doing that cycle manipulation is way better. So I've done my 2 dupes, and now I'm going to just go straight through and grab this key and then head on down to double jump. So let's speed up a little bit again, because now we're back to our normal stuff, ghost door, along our way. You don't cutscene skip on double jump for the same reason that we don't skip the darkness cutscene. You just don't have the points for it. We need this point for a Terra clip later on. And I'll talk a bit more about Terra clips when we get up to the part where we're going to do a Terra clip. So now we're just going to head out of Grotto, basically. Now, since this is reverse event order, that being, we're not going to grab the water vein because it's the last event or the first event, however you want to look at that. We've got to do something a little bit different here. So first up, I'm grabbing some experience here. It's just convenient experience to get. We don't skip this cutscene. The reason being that you can't dash on this platform until this cutscene plays. So if we were to skip it, we wouldn't be able to dash, and we need to be able to dash here. So here we place a save. You can just hold save and left after that cutscene to get it, in a reasonable spot. And then walk over so you can see Gumo start to put the water vein down, and then go down and get this. And this is just to get our save cooldown back, because we're going to save right away again after this. And now what we're going to do here is we're going to get a hyperspeed save off of a rekindle. So the way you do this is you have to be holding left while you start a dash and a save goes off. From the moment you press your save bind to start rekindling, it takes about a third of a second, slightly less, like it's I believe 18 frames for the save to go off. So it's basically like start saving, wait a little bit, and make sure you're holding left, and then you dash as the save happens. It's not too hard to do. There are a couple frames during the start of a dash where the rekindle can go off and you'll get hyperspeed. So it's not such a bad trick. It's not frame perfect or anything. So anyways, we're going to do that here, and then we're going to reload and hold left and jump over the water vein. So I think I got it there. And indeed I did. So you jump the water vein like that, and then on the edge of the bridge, you save and then you just rekindle right away so that you don't fall back down into Grotto. Unlike all cells, we don't need to get this bridge open because we're not going to come back down into Grotto. Now, during this cutscene, I'm opening the energy door to the left, and then we're going to head up here and grab this health cell. This is mandatory. You need, with this route, you need at least 5 health to... well, okay, that's not technically true. You don't actually need 5 health, but it's faster to get 5 health than to do the route through swamp that only requires 4 or doesn't require health. Anyways, so now we're gonna head up sort of towards Ginso. We're still picking up some experience, just setting up some more level ups, so just take note of which ones I grab. And yeah, we're gonna pick this one up too. Now this is all to set up for a level up at the start of Valley. You'll need to get a little bit of a feel for this, but the level up range is pretty wide when you're over there. There's like 50 experience that you can pick up pretty easily. So we're going to grab all that stuff, and then you know, since we're starved for ability points, we're going to keep grabbing more ability points, all the convenient ones, basically. Okay, so coming up in a little bit, I guess I'll mention this. Pushing this rock in is intentional. Pulling it out is not good, because you'd have to be able to leave this teleporter later without interacting with the rock, which sounds a little weird, but bear with me on it. You want to push the rock in. If you pull it out and dash over the top, you actually have to go back and push it a little bit more so that you can get out without touching the rock later. So it's faster to just push it in the first place. And then we're going to teleport back to Glades and make our way over towards Charge Flame, but not the standard way. So coming up here is a Terra clip. Now, if you've run all cells, you do know a bit about how Terra clips work, but just to explain the basic idea of it, if you're coming from an all skills background, something like that, what you need to do is from right next to a wall, but not quite touching the wall, you need to save and dash and be holding the direction towards the wall on the same frame. And then you need to leave the scene where the wall is loaded. And to figure out, minimum distances for that, you're basically going to be using zoom with debug, but you can trust that all the Terra clips I did here, I checked those kind of things, so I'm dying in the most convenient place each time. So yeah, you leave the scene where the wall is loaded, and then you die, and then you hold the direction towards the wall when you respawn, and you'll just go straight through it. Now the positioning for Terra clipping is pretty precise on some of them, and thus I have setups in this run which are slower than just like doing it real fast, and you might want to, if you decide that you can do it consistently enough without setups, just do the thing where you like turn away from the wall and then just do it right away, but that's up to you. I'll just talk about the setups I use when I have them. And I don't have a setup for this one. I just do, a turn kind of thing. I messed up my jump there, so I killed a frog because he was going to hit me. And also I'm, picking up my 5th health cell at this point. So for this Terra clip, I tap left to get away from the wall, and then a good way of checking if your Terra clip will work is you crouch and turn to the right. And then you can see that OREO is holding the wall here, because I didn't get quite far enough away with my left tap. So I'm starting to place the save, but I see the animation that I'm holding the wall, so I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta redo it. So I tap left again, then I turn. I press down and turn, and now I'm not holding the wall, so I'm in a good position for the Terra clip. It's possible that I'm too far away from the wall here, but, I know this one works, so you basically want to be in this position where you're barely not holding the wall. So we're going to place a save there, and then we're just going to Terra clip through. So I'm pressing a bind there that does dash right and proceed on the same frame, and then we're going to go down and die to this Frankie. I'll put the key bindings for Terra clips that I use in the description. So you get over towards Charge Flame. This skips having to do left Glades, and importantly skips having to watch the Spirit Tree cutscene, which we need for another bug later. Now our tree is unlocked a little bit more, so I can level up Charge Flame efficiency there. And then you can just dash to the right. The Charge Flame wall to the right there is unloaded while that cutscene is going, so you can just get straight through it. And now we're gonna now that we have Charge Flame and we can proceed further through the blue tree, we're going to head back to Swamp to go pick up Stomp, using some more Terra clips, and right here a little warp displacement. So if you haven't run any percent, you won't know what warp displacement is, but this is how you do it. So you start a save anywhere. This doesn't have to be a save anywhere. It can be like done off of the pause menu if you want, but save anywhere I find is the easiest for me. So you start a save anywhere, and then you open the teleport menu, and this lets you move while the teleport menu is up. Unfortunately, the movement on this one is pretty simple. and kind of sucks that I don't have game audio here because, you know, my voice is on the PB track as well, so it would get confusing. But anyways, you just move to the left and dash into the slime / water and get yourself killed, and then after you die, press your teleport to swamp and then go stand on this thing, like on the left. This position is fairly forgiving, but you kind of want to be on the left half of the platform and closer towards the middle. And this will bend you at the right angle. Rather than going to that teleporter, just fall directly onto this ability cell, which is pretty convenient because this one is hard to get up to without like charge jump or bash or something like that. So we're going to fall onto this ability cell, and we're also going to be all the way over to this side of swamp, so we don't have to do a bunch of like, you know, circular stuff. It's really quite important to skip this cutscene because we're going to come through here on the way out, and if you don't skip that cutscene, then stuff's going to be in your way. Now, to note that swarm I blew up there, I'm a little bit high on experience in this run, but you could opt, if you wanted, to take some experience from that swarm if you felt low on experience. It's just going to take, you know, a run or two to get used to how the experience route kind of feels. So now we're here, we're going to do another Terra clip. Now, you could just do this one the same way as you did the one at Charge Flame. You can just, you know, turn away from the wall and turn back, but I find this one is actually very precise to get to work. So one way you can get it to work is by going right up against the wall, doing 2 backflips, then you turn around and do 2 backflips the other way. And because the ground is like sloped a little bit, the distances that backflips take you is slightly varied, and this just puts you in the right spot to Terra Clip conveniently enough. So you're going to get Terra Clip leveling air dash there, and then you're going to come down here and die. And then you go straight through this wall, and you want to air dash back right away before you get too far away from that energy cell. So you grab that energy, and now we use the keystones that we had from that place, from our dupe and grotto. Now we're going to head up through swamp. So I have 5 health here. So I took 2 hits there. You only need to take 1, but I'll just save again for health, and then you can jump into the wall there and climb up. Now here, you can just jump, double jump air dash off of this. I do a neutral dash glide, which is where you just do a neutral wall jump, and then that kind of counts as like a backflip dash glide, and then you just dash glide, and so it makes you go faster. And now we're at Stomp. Now this is the part that I got the extra health cell in Grotto for. Unfortunately, I messed this up, but you can kind of do like a stomp jump cancel to grab that ledge just barely and go over the top here. If you don't do this, you have to fight the Rhino mini-boss, and you'd only want 4 health in that case, but it's faster to get the extra health cell so that you can take 2 hits there and go over the top like that. But that movement is not the easiest thing, so maybe you just want to fight the Rhino mini-boss. I don't know, it's up to you. But you're at 1 health here, the water is poison, so you got to be a little careful. But I'm still not saving because I want to place a save closer to here. So here's another Terra clip to get out of swamp. This one, since you can't save on the unstable ground, you have to place the save and carry the save anywhere over. But fortunately, the setup for it is very easy. You backflip once from right up against the wall, turn and backflip the other direction, and now you're in the right spot. So then you just Terra clip left, and now we're gonna go die. But you have to go pretty far over to die. Over to here, and then we're just gonna drown in the water, holding left, and we're out of swamp. So we're gonna grab that cell on our way out, and now start heading towards Valley, which is where things start to get a little bit crazier. My goal is to give, you know, enough explanation to figure this stuff out, but you're gonna have to come to terms with these tricks on your own. I think I flubbed the climb here a little bit. If you did that off-screen climb right, I would have, you know, been at the top of the right wall, or even over towards the iceless area first. Now, as I mentioned a little bit before, I'm pretty high on experience in this run, because, you know, I leveled early coming out of Grotto. I accidentally took the 15 at Grotto Skip. If you were a bit lower, you could just kill this frog at Iceless with 2 stomps and take his 30 experience, but I don't need it, so I'm just gonna carry on through. Also, there's no way to skip the Crow cutscene because we don't have Bash, so you just have to watch it. Now we're gonna head through spider area here, kill this guy, grab this cell, and now it's kind of a similar movement to what you did to get out of Stomp. Is a stomp and then like jump cancel over there off of an air dash. It's sort of similar to what you do in all skills, but you know, since you're not bashing the spider, it is a little bit different. So you're gonna come up here and grab this ability cell because we need all ability cells possible. And then we're gonna head towards Valley. Now here we want this energy. If you don't get an energy drop from that swarm, then you might need to like go down towards Charge Flame and grab some extra energy here, but I believe the energy count you need here is 4. So I had enough because I got an energy drop from the swarm. Unfortunately, there's just a little bit of RNG for that. Okay, so now to explain this. This is the overmap out of bounds into Valley entry, and this is the reason that we need the Spirit Tree cutscene still active. So first things first is this save position to the right there is pretty precise. It needs to be very, very close because this cutscene pulls you into like closer to the center of the Spirit Tree after the first part of it ends, and you need to still be able to access your save from there. So you'll want to make sure that the save is like right on the edge of the zone that you can no longer save in. So you place the save, and then you start the Spirit Tree cutscene. Then you're immediately going to skip the first part. And then once you get here, like once you have control again, you just start a save anywhere right away. And then when the map shows up, you level Charge Dash and then exit the game. And here's a good place to back up the save because it's really easy to soft lock on this next trick. Now, because the map kind of loads in a weird scene, but it still has to like throw OREO up there to instantiate it, we're now on a black bar where this map cutscene was taking place, which is pretty far up and a little bit to the left of where we were. So we're now kind of like above the entrance to Valley, and we've got to traverse an out-of-bounds zone. So this is part of the reason that we've been getting so many ability points, is because we need to have Charge Dash, and then we need to do some Hyperspeed Charge Dash saves over to the left. So start a save anywhere here, and then just like do a Hyperspeed Charge Dash, and then another one, and then that went really quite well. This trick, I would say, is the most finicky trick in the entire run, getting into here quickly. You kind of just, like, there's a bunch of different ways it can go. You can come through, like, down here and land there. You can, like, blast through this wall and land over on the spikes way to the left. Or you can come through and, like, have to kind of mash jump to get through here, taking a hit. It is possible to do this with no damage if you're getting, like, one of the ones down here. But, you know, you can easily be too low and get stuck in. So you need to practice this trick a fair bit, I think, to get a sense for how it works. Because Your height will vary depending on when you do your second save, and that makes it kind of horrible. But that's that. So now, since we're out of energy, this is what the entire experience road has been for, so that we can level up here, either to this bird or to the bird up top, so that we have more energy for this next part. And I got my level here, so that's good. If you're a little bit short, you can just kind of wait in this area until stuff respawns, but it's really, really slow, so you don't want to do that if at all possible. So now we have since we have a bunch of energy, we only need a little bit for this part. We need to do a few rocket jumps. So, but you have the liberty for some saves here if you want. Okay, so we're gonna hit the spikes and then rocket jump off that spider. Strictly speaking, you don't need to touch the spikes there, but I find that one easier to set up. And then this one, you don't want to. You can only take 1 damage boost there and live. So you want to make sure you're good there. Let me go back. Go through this part again. So you want to note the position. The first rocket jump is not super hard to get it right. Let's just go through this a little bit slower. But the important thing is you're pretty far down. Like I barely jump before I rocket jump, and pretty far left of the spider to get you to this wall where you can refund your jumps. And then this one, you kind of just want to be like in line with like this part of the background here, just before you hit the spikes. Basically just like an air dash double jump, and then just before you hit the spikes you can do the rocket jump, and that'll take you up. And I'm holding left there to avoid bonking the roof, and then kind of like a brief release of left, and then hold left again so that I can fall past this spider cleanly. You'll have to mess with that on your own. I just kind of want to, make it possible. Make this like a basis for you to figure out how the heck this category works. Now here, kind of just dash glide and double jump. The position that you want to do the rocket jump from is pretty specific. I use as a cue, like just after I pass this last lantern, is when you want to do it. There's kind of like a sort of diagonal-ish death plane where Kuro will kill you that you're just barely over when you do the rocket jump there. If you do it too early, you'll bonk the roof and you'll be screwed because you don't have bash, so you can't do anything with these birds. If you do it too late, Kuro will kill you. So, yeah, it's real fun. You don't need to do a dash glide here to set this up. If you prefer, I have set it up in the past by you just like jump off, air dash, and then double jump, and that'll get you into position. But between that and a dash glide, neither of them are really easier. So, that's that. Now, to note, if you didn't safety save at all in Valley, I made 2 safety saves. You don't need to go get that energy, but I really like those safety saves, because if you mess up any of those, like the rocket jump up to the Kuro rocks, or the rocket jumps through the spider area, then you're back to the stupid clip into Valley part. My god, that's that one can take a long time to do. That's by far the roughest trick, and it went quite well here. So now we're gonna head down to those frogs, do a rocket jump off one of them, so that you can get to the Valley teleporter. And this isn't just to refill your energy, but you need the Valley teleporter later. And now we're gonna head to Misty. So I just did a backflip dash glide there, which is your best option. Get that 20 speed glide across Valley. And now we're gonna struggle our way through Misty without bash. Lots of fun. And then soon we'll be able to get to charge jump, but not just yet. Okay, so this stuff's kind of self-explanatory, but we don't have bash, so we're struggling. You just kind of force your way through here as best you can. We're not going to do all of Misty, though. That was unintentional damage, but it's okay, because I have 2 health back per save. So here we need to damage boost up these spikes to go grab the cell, because as always we're starved for ability points. And then I'm going to save again here. If I hadn't gotten a health drop, I would have needed, I think, to go to the right here and grab this energy so I could make another save to heal. Looks like I'm going to go grab that energy anyways, because maybe that was in my head at the time. But here we're doing the Misty out of bounds. I think recently in All Cells people have been doing this with a Terra clip off to the right instead, but I'll just explain the old way to do it because I haven't messed with that Terra clip much myself. And actually, that probably wouldn't work in this category because you don't have an ability point for it. Okay, I'm just going to take a moment and say, you can Terra clip without spending a point by rekindling, but I find it incredibly difficult, so I don't do it in these runs. But it can be done. It's just more difficult. Anyways, let's carry on. So for this Misty out of bounds, you hold left to run off the platform, and then hold left and feather, and then just a bit after you hear the feather come out, switch to holding right until you get hit, and then double jump. And that'll put you on another invisible platform, which is pretty big. It's like right in this area. And then I just save on there again for safety. And now here, here's a fun little setup. I'm grabbing this part of the wall just before it deloads so that I can do a neutral jump off of it, and then do a neutral dash glide. And then you can figure out how long you need to go through the void here by watching OREO's tail wag around. So let's just watch 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I stomp. So, oops. Since those animations are consistent, it's a good way to time the distance. So 1, 2, 3 ear touches, and then pull the feather. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tail wags, or side-to-side tail movements, and then you stomp. And that should take you down to that part of forlorn. You're going to grab that third key so that you have 3, because we're going to do a whole bunch of dupes here. And then you're going to land down here and save near the edge, but not quite on the edge of this platform. That, like, the minimum distance away from the door to key dupe is about this much. And then we're just going to dupe a whole ton of keys. This is the fastest way to get keys by far. It's more convenient when you come in here at 2 or 1 health, but it's not a big deal to get the spider to hit you twice. So we'll just dupe until we have 12 keys. Or actually, okay, I forgot this route is different. Dupe until you have 9 keys. And now we're going to do another teleport anywhere trick. So start a save anywhere, then open the teleport menu, then you're going to run to the left and die on that wall, and then you're going to grab the orb. Like, after you die, you click the teleport to valley, and then grab the orb and walk onto the roof. Now you're falling into Sorrow with reverse controls, because you can't do Sorrow Bash because you don't have Bash. And you can't release the wind because the wind is an event. So here we go through Sorrow. Real fun. And gotta farm some more ability cells. And I missed that one. Doing battle with this bird. This bird's spooky as heck when you don't have Bash, honestly. This is some complete spaghetti right here. Don't do it like this. This bird's owning me. Oh goodness, he's nearly killing me. Alright, we made it up. Okay, so now here, I'm going to place a save here just, well, not only for safety, but to explain a little bit about how the orb works. Is we got to do some saving and reloading and teleporting. And if you do any of those things, you're going to lose the forlorn orb. And you need the forlorn orb to do some more gravity shenanigans later on. So what we do here is, while holding the orb, you save, and then you reload the file. And that writes to your save file that you were holding the forlorn orb, but because you're outside of forlorn, it doesn't think to try to load it. But that flag is persisted until the next time we go to forlorn, at which point the orb will just appear in your hand. So that's important, is you have to be holding the orb and save and reload there. And it'll make sure the orb comes back to us later, because we're going to be teleporting out of Sorrow, and the orb gets left behind if you teleport without having done this first. Okay, so now you're going to stomp this guy outside of his normal patrol range. He won't run from you over this line, but you can stomp him out of there, and then that will set him up better. And then you want him to turn and face you. Like, you want to be standing far enough away that he won't run from you, so that he's facing to the right, and then drop through this platform. And then you kind of float in line with the edge of this, and wait for him to touch that little marking. That marking right there on the platform. And then just do a rocket jump, and that'll make you trace the wall. And tracing the wall while charge jumping or rocket jumping slows down your deceleration, so that you rise a little bit faster, and you rise fast enough in this case for the frog's shot to not fire until you're right at the top. And that lets you break the roof, so that's pretty sweet. So now we're floating up to the top of Sorrow. That's just a safety save there because I was spooked, so we're gonna grab some more, a couple more keys there, just the convenient ones. I had to wait for my save there to do a ghost story, so that this is probably a convincing reason not to safety save there, but you know, it is how it is. And now we finally have a charge jump, so our mobility is a lot better now. And now we begin the setup for perhaps the most contrived trick in the run, which is the Ginso entry. And it's basically a plethora of tricks. So here, I just do a rocket jump off the spiders so I can avoid the spikes. You know, you can just kind of spam charge dash there if you want to. There's a few ways you can get through that part in one piece. Now we're just going to work towards the Sword Teleporter. You have to rocket jump to get up here because you don't have bash to bash off the spider. And now we're going to teleport down to whatchamacallit, Sunken Glades, and do a little bit of ability point farming because we need more points for this next part of the run. And now that we have charge jump, it's the best time to do it because we can do it the fastest. So the old OREO route didn't come here. It's kind of like a throwback to the very early original routes where we were just like, we need ability points. Well, Blackroot has a ton of them. Then we found out that farming in Swamp was faster. But we already farmed Swamp in this route, so we have to come down here to grab some points. So we're gonna just get the convenient ones. So the one as you enter, the one just above you here, and then the one off to the left. The one to the right takes too long to get, so you can skip that, and then head back out to the teleporter. The one to the right here is the fastest to get to, but we didn't have it active earlier, which is why we didn't use it to come in. So now that we have that, we're going to set up... Oh my gosh, this next glitch, which is called hands-free orb. And the way that this works is by holding two different orbs during a teleport, which causes you to try to drop them and puts you into like a I've dropped the orbs so I can move normally state, but since you had two orbs, it only drops one of them. And in this case, we'll drop the orb in Misty, Atsu's torch, and we'll still be kind of holding the forlorn orb, which lets us have different gravity but the ability to move. So if you understood that, good on you. But well, you just have to kind of see how it works. So what we're gonna do, we're back in forlorn because we did the save in Sorrow, holding the orb. The orb just appears to us here. So you're gonna drop the orb and save, and then you're gonna start a teleport anywhere. Go die. Teleport to Valley. This time, take left gravity. Now this trick here is known as Palace Skip, because Terra really wanted to find like a way to skip some of the cutscenes in Forlorn at AGDQ, and through like having 8 OREO runners in a hotel room for a while, we eventually came up with this method, which was found like in its completion during the Paper Mario run, which was doing its like new fancy tech palace skip. So we're just like, all right, we'll call it palace skip because our trick names suck. Anyways. So yeah, you're going to fall to the left here. You're going to kind of line up with this to get your position right, and then you're just going to fall straight down to the left. And because we left Misty in a partially completed state, this is going to put us right here. And now I think I make a safety save here, because this part, if you mess up, you have to fall all the way back down from the teleporter, and it's terrible. You don't have to save here, though. Okay, so here's a thing to know about Palace Skip. Right there, you can see how the background is loaded, and I'm edging to the right until the moment it unloads. Now at this point, there's 1 more second that's going to elapse, and then the platform is going to disappear. So I wanted to be as close to the top of the screen here as possible so that I can catch another edge later down, but I want to unload the platform first to fall through it. So I'm going to wait for it to unload, and I'm going to fall just a little bit, and then I'm going to hold left. And now I'm stuck like here on a little bit of ground inside the platform, and the entire point of that is to just slow down my fall a little bit so that I can get into the floor of the Atsu's torch room without using the door, because that leaves Misty in this messed up state, which is really useful later, because if you use the door, you have to go through a trigger, which is just on the left side of the door, which sets Misty into the finished state, which is bad. Okay, so now I'm on like sort of a tiered platform. I was there, and then I fell down to here, and then I'm going to place a save, just because this next part is a little spooky, but it's a lot slower to place a save here. And then I edge to the right again till I see the background unload, which it has, and then I start to fall, and then I hold left, and then you catch like a little bit of terrain here. There's like a couple little spots you can land, but this part's kind of precise to like catch some terrain while you're still in the floor, so that you can place a save in the floor to get out of here later. Alright, so here we are. I'm waiting for my save cooldown because I placed a safety save. So I'll save in the floor and then drop the orb, or I'll drop the orb and then jump in to the room. And then wait for this orb to settle down. You press pick up once, you'll pick up both orbs, and then rekindle the save and reload it, which will now push you back through the floor, and then you can just hold right, and you'll fall back into Misty. Or Forlorn, rather. You'll fall back into Forlorn. Now you need to die once, and then hold right a little bit, dash, and then stomp so that you're not over the spikes. And this has given me the hands-free orb because of, some reasons. So now we have the orb, but we can move normally. I don't know if I can give much of a better explanation, but basically, it's for whatever reason, like I mentioned before that it had to do with teleporting, but dying in Forlorn there, well, sort of holding both orbs, but having the Forlorn orb not loaded at first, puts you into this state as well. So, anyways, now we do another teleport anywhere. Now, for this one, we need to take some right gravity into swamp. So first I'm gonna make a save here just for safety's sake. We can't die too easily because you know, the fire platforms won't kill us, but that's fine. We don't want to die on this one anyways. So what you do here is you just, from the center of the platform, this is kind of part of the point of the save, from the center of the platform, you just make sure you're facing right, and then you dash twice, and that lands you on top of the cube to the right. And then you just walk left a little bit to get to this edge. So you dash twice, just neutral dashes from here. That lands you there, and then you just tap left a little bit. And this gives us right gravity. So we're going to teleport to swamp with right gravity. And this is the reason that we pushed the rock earlier, because you can't interact with the rock when you have right gravity. So we're going to climb out of here. And then we're going to go up to a certain part of the roof. Now, at this point I should note that it's really easy to screw up your file here by going too far to the right, or up, if you will, and going out of bounds. And the earliest possible backup save for this is when we're in Forlorn with the orb before we fell into Misty. So because this was a PB attempt, I didn't even bother backing up that save, because if you mess up this trick, at a certain point your PB is just super dead because you lose like 2 minutes. But yeah, don't screw this up. But you will screw this up when you start, so you'll need to practice this a fair bit. So anyways, we're climbing up the very top of the sort of swamp roof here to grab another ability cell, because you're never done farming cells. And then you want to land on this branch, but you don't want to go out of bounds, so you got to kind of like ease onto it so that you're on this branch but not quite out of bounds. And then you want to place a save and do a hyperspeed charge dash to the right / up, but to the right. And what happens is, because this orb is in this weird state where we're carrying it but not carrying it, in this particular version of it, it's going to instantly just come into our hands as soon as we go out of bounds and put us into the normal carrying state, which means you can't charge dash. So this is why you have to get this on the first try. If you out of bounds and like come back to the save, you're done, because you can't charge dash anymore with the orb, and if you drop it you'll have normal gravity, and you need right gravity to get into Ginso. So hyperspeed charge dash, and then holding right here, you just do some saves through the void. Now I did the first save through the void like right off the bat before I got reset the second time. If you don't save right away for like the second save, then you can get sent back into swamp, and holding right will not take you out of bounds again. But you can get out of bounds again if you just like tap left and then hold right again. Don't ask me why, but like every second respawn you'll have to tap left and then hold right to get through. So anyways, whatever. Do some saves through the void, getting reset every second, and you will now be in Ginso. Charge dash that stupid spider, and then like we did in that place, like we did in Sorrow, you're going to pick up the orb, save, and reload the file so that the orb held flag is still active. and then you're gonna just peace out, head through Ginso. So this is an all cells out of bounds. You save sort of in the middle of between the wall and the resting position of this block. You just want to not be touching the wall, not be touching the block, just be in the middle somewhere and it should work. So you push the block to the edge, let go of the block, rekindle the save, and then hold down and you'll fall through. And then I grab some energy there. Here you can just annihilate this guy with the charge jump into charge dash, which hits him with both, and then he's dunzos. And now we don't need those keys to the right. It's faster to just have done an extra dupe in forlorn. So I'm just gonna grab one more key. Don't even need the other key in that room before that door, so it's just like that's how fast it is to dupe keys in forlorn. Now I'm grabbing some more experience. At this point the timing of the level doesn't really matter anymore so much because I mean, you can set up for core skip if you're nuts. You don't have to because it's been like a pretty long time. And you know, it's an easy thing to miss. And also doesn't take very long to do the right side because you can just stomp the wall. You don't have to use the shot. This boss you can kill pretty quickly just by charge jumping into him. And then we're up top again, so. But okay, yeah, so putting core skip aside, the reason I'm taking experience still is because we're still gonna do a whole bunch of saves. And I actually think I am set up for core skip here, so I'm gonna do it. Well, my experience looks oh yeah, look at that. I'm gonna take the frog in. I was a little bit too low. And then I'm gonna nice. That's beautiful. So I messed it up by stomping, which kills the thing at the same time. But that's alright because it can show you how easy this right room is because you can just stomp this and then you're good to go. Doesn't lose that much. Okay, so now we're going to go get the Ginso teleporter. That's important because we're going to come back up here to get clean water later. Grab these keys on your way out so you have enough to open the misty door later on. And then take some more experience on your way down. I'm taking this on the way down instead of the way up because I wanted to do core skip, which failed, but it is what it is. And now we're heading back down to the mini boss room because this is the fastest way to Horu, the room before the mini boss room rather. We're gonna get out of bounds again here. For whatever reason you can stomp that thing from the left side but not the right. Okay, so I hadn't moved the save that I had there, so I can just reuse the same one without pushing the block around at all, which is the reason I wasn't ghost storing. Okay, so once again you hold down to get out of bounds, but I'm also holding feather and left so that I fall onto like this little platform here. And then we're going to do some hyperspeed charge dashes to the left while holding feather. So 3 hyperspeed charge dashes to the left. Also note that at this point I have spirit light efficiency, which is important because I still need to farm some experience levels. So anyways, yeah, 3 hyperspeed charge dashes to the left, and you'll land in R4, where you can just kill that swarm for some experience, and then drop the rock. Now here, once again, I wish I had a video that I wasn't commentating, so that I could play the game sound. But here, there's an overlap of cutscenes between the lava lowering cutscene and the entering Horu cutscene. So at some point, the entering Horu cutscene will autosave before the lava lowering cutscene is done, and that will put you in the entry room to Horu. So at that point, you just reload. If you wait too long, you'll get sucked back into R4, and you'll have to exit it a different way, which is a little inconvenient because there's lava in the way, but you can actually just door warp off of either the interior or exterior door to it. I don't remember which one. I think it's the interior door. And that'll put you back in the main room. But this is easy enough. Just like wait till you hear the save sound and then reload the file and you're good to go. And then we're gonna head up to do the left side of OREO. Of course, because we're glitch central over here, we're not going to do all the rooms. We're only going to do the bottom one. But we've got to come up here to do it, and we need more levels. So we're just gonna kill these floating turrets as we go up. This combined with the experience orbs we took down on our way through Ginso will give us another level up. Now here, okay, this save position doesn't really matter. Just save on this platform and then you have to die. If you don't die, I could not even begin to explain to you why this happens. But if you don't die there, this Terra clip just won't work. So there you have it. So for this Terra clip, once again, you could set it up quickly by just doing like a tap right and a turn to the left. But backflips work consistently, and it's nice because you have to have the save anywhere up because you saved over on the right edge of the platform, unless you went all the way over here and set it up first, which I don't even know, man. Anyways, so yeah, one backflip right, one backflip left, Terra clip through the wall, and then we're going to go die in a lava pool down here. And then you just hold left, get through, fall through the left side of OREO. This takes a little bit of practice. You kind of have to like be far to the left, then you have to edge a little bit right here, because if you fall like there, you get stuck in the wall, and then edge right some more, and now we're outside of L4. So I'm just gonna do this room. Just gonna do this room without dying, hopefully. Grab this experience because it's convenient. Start the lava escape. This is back to a little bit of normal movement for a little bit, so not too much to talk about. Just to note which experience I'm grabbing, because I spent quite some time, like, since we still need tons of level ups, because now all of our abilities to level up, I believe, cost 2. I'm still going to be picking up experience orbs here and there. And this is also the reason why it's important to note that I got Spirit Light efficiency on my way over to OREO, because, you know, having doubled experience is a lot faster than forcing yourself to farm ability cells. Their Super Magnet is pretty good and grabs us experience from stuff that's dying in the main room. So grab that orb, head over to here. Now for this, the position, like right when you exit the door, is the correct position for 2 dashes to just 2 dashes while you're crouching. Just takes you through the lava. I don't know, man. And then you can just charge dash out of the lava, and it like skips all of the damage hitbox for you. So, so that's that. Now we're almost ready to grab our first event, Warmth. We just have to do a little bit of setup first because we don't want to be trapped in the final escape. We want to be able to get out of it. So we're going to kill the mini-boss. You're going to go save in front of the door and then leave. Go to the teleporter. And do another teleport anywhere. So that's a rocket. Okay, I can talk about the setup for that rocket jump. I forgot about this one. So it's like, I think it's right there. Let's play it slowly. This guy has to be alive for it to work, so if he died in the fight, then you might have to like bash a shot up instead. But yeah, it's like, okay. So it's sort of like in this pit of the lava, you just be running left, continue to hold left the entire time with that rocket jump, and then you'll get around the platform. If you bonk your head on that platform, then you're not going to get through. Okay, so these banelings do 6 damage, so you get 1 shot by the baneling, so just start to teleport anywhere as you have before. Dash off to the right, die to a baneling, and then click the teleport back to OREO. And now you gotta go activate Warmth before the teleport goes off, so don't flub your movement up here. And then you'll teleport during the cutscene. game gets super confused about where you are, during this time you can head over top of like the teleporter back to the left, which I did, come back to the door, and now here what you need to do is advance the cutscene to the point where you get warmth, but you want to be outside the room at the time. So you enter and leave the door, and then rekindle the save, and yeah. So you enter and leave the door, rekindle the save. You have to kind of like get used to some different cutscene states there. Sometimes you'll see a like gray screen, and like sometimes you'll need to enter and enter and leave the door multiple times. It sort of depends on how far you got back over from the teleporter after you did the teleport anywhere out, because if you get close enough to it, like the cutscene progresses to the part where you just need to enter and leave once, but you might need to enter and leave like twice, and if you enter and leave too many times you might get locked in, so you need to practice this to kind of get a feel for how it works. But you know, we've done that. Rocket jump out of here again, the same setup, and now farm a little bit more experience. These two orbs are real good because they're both 200s or 400s since we have Spirit Light efficiency. So now we're in event cleanup mode because we finally got warmth, which is, you know, the most locked away event. And now we're just going to be heading to Sunstone. For this, oh yeah, I totally forgot about this. This is why you need 5 health for this run. Is to do this damage boost here. You can like bash the spider shot down here instead, but this is way faster to like do a charge jump and then air dash into the wall. And then we can just stomp this floor and float on up to Sunstone. There's nothing handy to rocket jump off of, so we'll just be floating up here. And we'll grab some more experience from this thing up top. We have super magnets, so you don't need to like go anywhere near it. It'll just get attracted to you on its own. And there I just checked my experience number to tell how much stuff I still needed to kill. I guess we have this one point ability left. This is the second last save that we need to do. So just like a skip of the Sunstone cutscene, that's normal in all skills, so you know what's up with that. And then we just need to get one more level up before we land in whatchamacallit, Forlorn, to release the wind. And that's gonna come from this experience orb here. Now here is another like nice setup for getting the right spot. We're gonna fall straight into the Forlorn escape with a save anywhere going. And the way you're gonna do it is you're gonna, from around like kind of where I saved there, you're gonna backflip dash glide, and then you're gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-ish. Sort of tail wags back and forth, or I guess you could count them if you prefer from just one side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you just stomp. That's just a way to like time consistently where the escape, where the little sweet spot to fall into the top of the Forlorn escape room is, because that's only about 5 OREO widths wide, so you need something consistent for that. Alright, so this is the same Forlorn escape skip as you do in all cells. You activate the escape, chill out for a bit, and then when the screen changes, then you save and reload, and then you'll be back over to the left. And you'll be holding the orb again. You know, oh yeah, this is why you need the orb again, is because now we need to go get the Gumon seal, and for getting the Gumon seal, it's really the fastest way back there is to fall to the left. So, like we've done like 3 times, or this is maybe the 3rd time we've done it in this run. We're gonna start a teleport anywhere, die, and then teleport to Valley, and then have left gravity, and then we're just gonna fall through Misty. Except this time we're not gonna go through the floor. We're going to be a little bit further up, and we're gonna actually just land on the door. And this is our last 4 keystones. And interesting. Okay, so just like reloading a file while holding the forlorn orb, it brought that back into our hands when we revisited forlorn. The same thing happens with the misty orb. So all you need to do is drop orbs twice, because you have to drop them like 1 at a time, and then touch like the trigger that's just inside the door like you do in all skills, and then the orb will just be sitting here because you already had it, and this reloads like the end of Misty so that we can carry the orb back to Atsu's torch. So yeah, so the entire point of having Misty unloaded there is so that you can fall through it directly to the forlorn escape area, so that we can do that faster without watching a bunch of cutscenes in forlorn. And here, because I have plenty of energy to spare, I'm just gonna charge flame all these slimes out of my way. And now this is kind of an old All Cells trick from back when All Cells actually did this part, but you rekindle when you put the orb on the platform, and then you rekindle after the second torch lights up there, and that gets you through both of the Gumon seal cutscenes. And now I'm just gonna head to the right, just dashing a bunch to the right basically as this cutscene is going, so that I'll be in Valley already. And note that I can save to set my camera position back, so I just save there once the camera catches up, and then I can see where I am and jump onto the teleporter easily. So, events down, warmth, sunstone, wind, Gumon seal, all that's left is clean water and water vein. This is why we got the made sure to get the Ginso, top of Ginso teleporter as we left last time. Now you get to tear through the Ginso escape with charge dash and charge jump, which is a ton of fun. Because you can rocket jump off of stuff, and it's just really fast. And this takes us, conveniently enough, close to where the water vein is, so we'll get to pick that up right away too. So yeah, just tearing through it at this point, and pretty much here, all the tricks are done. There's nothing too complex left. We're just going to be getting your last couple events, and then we'll teleport back to Horu, and then we'll do the final escape, and the run will be done. So you can just kick back and watch the end of the route. Hopefully this video wasn't too ridiculously overwhelming. I'm kind of intending that you know, take it bit by bit and like slow down and rewatch things on your own, especially like during the later part. Those tricks are just completely nuts. So yeah, don't worry if it takes a while to pick this stuff up. Now note that we're going kind of a weird way to the water vein here, because we never drained the water in Swamp. There's never a convenient time to do it, and doing drainless is slow, so you just go over the top there, come back, grab the water vein, and then head up to the grotto teleporter. But yeah, best of luck running this category. I think this is a fun run to learn, just for the sake of completing it, but because the majority of this run is a bunch of like really weird out of bounds tricks, grinding your time down is like is quite something, because you'll get very frustrated at like the value out of bounds while you're like constantly not getting through the like spikes properly. Anyways, also if you do decide to learn this, I mean, this guide is alright, and because I'm not available all that much, it may be the best you have to learn the run from. But if you want to learn OREO, I'd say like it doesn't hurt to maybe ping me and maybe like Terra, if he doesn't mind, on Discord, because we're the only ones who've done runs of this route, and we could probably help you out. I just messed up fish strats. Note that you don't have climb, so you can't grenade jump, so fish strats are alive and well in this category. And yeah, that's that, man. So there you go. Good luck running this. But yeah, as I said, like, feel free to ping me on Discord if you're going to do a learning stream of this, and I'll come and try to help you out, because I didn't fully explain absolutely everything that happened here, and I haven't done runs of this for a while, so this guide is maybe not as good as it could have been if I was like actively running OREO, but you know, I think it's a reasonable starting point. It might just be like a couple places here and there where you just need to work on stuff for a little bit on your own to get a full understanding of it, or, you know, having somebody in chat to help you out could be helpful. So yeah, don't hesitate to let me know if you're gonna give this a try. And also, I guess there is a different route that you could explore. I don't know if you want to, because I thought about it and it was just a complete headache. Rather than going to swamp after you get charge flame, you can just Terra clip into valley and start rocket jumping up and doing that stuff. Like, the Kuro kill zone is not there if you don't have stomp and stuff like that. But it's super difficult, and you need stomp eventually anyways for L4, so I don't think it really saves you much. But, you know, if you're really into OREO, then I would say, and you want to like try to improve the route too, I think it's possible to come up with some improvements for this. I think this route is pretty good, but like there's an entirely, you know, largely unexplored thought of just like not getting stomp and just going straight to valley at that point. But you have to do some crazy stuff like a charge flame redirect on the spider shot to do stompless, and it's just something else. So anyways, we'll leave that there, because I don't know anything about that route. And I think I'll sign off here. Hopefully this was useful. Hopefully your head didn't explode at the fast explanations of the series of tricks in the later half of the run. But there you have it. That's OREO. Peace.